Even in this age of digital media, there are people out there who've never interacted with Muslims before and have little to no idea about Islam. Hard to believe? Wait till you hear the story of Sister Jessica Ross, a nurse and an entrepreneur. Sister Jess was born and raised in a very small town in Canada, where cultural and religious diversity was rare. She describes her early sentiments with religion, saying, "I always struggled with the religions I was introduced to. I always had a lot of questions, and those questions were never really answered to my liking. And they actually caused more confusion. They never really settled in my heart." Jess wanted to know more about faith, and upon questioning, she was always left with the idea that you believe this because you're told to believe it. It just did not settle well with her, and so she backed off of all religions she was introduced to. Before starting nursing school, Jessica hustled the restaurant life, and though she served others for a living, she struggled to serve herself when the days ended. I was essentially waking up every morning being like, what am I doing with my life? What is my purpose? I was just having a lot of internal struggles. So I was just having a really hard time with the way I was feeling inside not being the way that I was acting outside. That was really difficult for me. I knew I needed more direction in my life, says Jess. Now, here's the best part. Jess found a friend and confessed to her the trouble she was facing. Her friend then introduced her to Islam, and Jess took up reading the Holy Quran. She also found books on the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and started learning more about him. Jess puts her journey to Islam in perspective and says, all of those questions that I had growing up with other religions started to be answered in a very straightforward, factual way. They really started to touch my heart and made so much sense. I felt like, for the first time, I was learning the truth. Sister Jess met a few Muslims and started to learn about Islam through community. People that I was introduced to embodied really amazing characteristics. And so I started to realize that a huge part of why these people were the way they were was Islam. Gradually witnessing the peace in Islam, Jess knew it was time to say the Shahada and truly live the way she wanted to live. On the day of her conversion, she met a couple friends and a family that wanted to support her new chapter in life. She had always been close to her own family and wanted to tell them about the amazing experience she just had. She called and was surprised to hear them begging her not to convert. Though Jess understood their reasons, she stood firm in her decision and told them how beautiful Islam was. I spoke to them about how, as soon as I finished saying my Shahada, the whole women's side of the mosque was lined up behind me, ready to hug me, congratulate me, and welcome me into Islam. They were handing me pieces of paper with their names and numbers since they were Quran teachers and Arabic teachers. Jess also told them about the family she met on the day of her conversion, how they gave her flowers as soon as she was done saying the Shahada, and took her out to have a celebratory lunch with them. I told my parents that I had never felt community like that before. I had never felt love from strangers like that before. Jess realized her family understood the language of community, support, and love. If there is one thing that my dad, to this day, says, is that he misses the feeling of community in North America. It is just not the same as it used to be when he was growing up. Jess says that the media also has a big hand in playing with fears of communities. One of the biggest fears her dad had was that she would not be accepted by the Muslim community as a white, Canadian, female convert, and she would have a hard time finding a good match for herself. However, after their thorough talk, he did end up realizing that his daughter had made the right decision. The Muslim community's support and their guidance made everything easier for me. Their lack of judgment, their ease and compassion for Islam allowed me to develop my own love for the religion without feeling pressured to be a certain way. May Allah bless her with His best bounties. Ameen.